CS&IT Manu, Professor Pradeep Kumar, speaker for today's session, Dr. Jyotsana, Devi, Bodapati, colleagues, participants and media students. This is Afra Fatima, Assistant Professor, Department of CS&IT. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our esteemed speaker for today's program, Dr. Jyotsana Devi Bodapati. She is currently an Associate Professor at Vignan's Foundation for Science, Technology and Research, Andhra Pradesh from July 2016. Her key skills include Python programming language, machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing. She has also worked as a doctoral research scholar for 9 years in Indian Institute of Technology, Chennai. She has also worked as an assistant professor at Vignan University, Guntur in 2010. Her notable achievements include she has received as a Best Teacher Award in 2012. She has also worked as an assistant professor in Vignan's Engineering College in 2007, Guntur. Her educational profile includes she has done her Doctor of Philosophy from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. She has done her M.Tech in Computer Science and Engineering in 2007 from Acharya Nagarjuna University. She has completed her MCA from Acharya Nagarjuna University. She has worked on some major projects which include scene image classification, face recognition using wavelet, e-grabber, facility management. Please join me in welcoming our mentor for today, Dr. Jyotsana Devi Bodapati. Let us eagerly embrace this opportunity to learn and gain invaluable insights from Dr. Jyotsana Devi Bodapati. Please welcome.
Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am, for the generous introduction. Good morning, all of you. So today's session will be on natural language processing, where the focus will be on sentiment analysis and machine translation. So I'll be discussing about so this is the outline of my presentation, where I'll be talking about. So I'll give you a brief overview of natural language processing. So because for those who are new to the natural language processing, and I'll just introduce few of the applications of natural language processing. Then I'll introduce two different applications of natural language processing: the sentiment analysis and machine translation. And how do you extract features from language like text? So that is what I'll be discussing as part of this lecture. And also, so what are the various machine learning and deep learning models that are useful, that are most dominant in the industry for the sentiment analysis and the machine translation. So that's what the highlights of this presentation will be. This is the overview of this presentation. So let me start up my presentation with the overview of natural language processing. What natural language processing is. So let's try to understand that. So we humans, how do we communicate with each other? So humans can communicate with each other. So in the form of the signs, maybe we can use the signals also to, like, maybe I can wave my hand or I can give my facial gestures and all. But most communication would happen in the form of the text. So we write messages to others and also we speak with others. So that is a major form of communication between we humans. But nowadays that kind of human communication alone is not sufficient, because we are in the digital era and where we are spending much of our time with the gadgets, technical gadgets, so not with humans. If you observe, most of our time is going with the gadgets only, so not with humans. Then, so how a human can interact with a gadget or a computer? So that is where this natural language processing came into picture. So what is natural language processing? So of course it's a branch of artificial intelligence. Undoubtedly it's a branch of artificial intelligence. And what is the focus of this natural language processing? So this focuses on various algorithms and models which focus on machine can interact with humans, or like how do you process or analyze and understand how the computer can understand the human language or the natural language. So the languages which are spoken by the humans or the language we use to communicate, that are known as the natural languages. So can we use our computers to process and understand that kind of natural language? So maybe you are speaking Urdu. So can you make your system to understand Urdu? So that is where this natural language processing came into picture. So the interaction, it focuses on interacting between a computer and the humans, so in terms of the natural language. So how we communicate earlier, before the introduction of natural language processing is, so like we have to use, we as programmers, we have to use some programming language to interact with our machines, right? So we have to like, we have to use C programming or Python or Java programming, so to work to write a program, and then that is how you are conveying instructions. You are giving some instructions to the computer, and that also the machine cannot understand. So that in turn need to be converted to binary form or the machine machine understandable form, and then the machine can understand. So rather than that, so can we make our machine can we take it to the next level? So where the machine can understand the natural language itself. So that is where the natural language processing came into picture, so which focuses on the algorithm design or the model design, which focuses on understanding the natural languages, understanding the human languages. What we are speaking, can you make your machine understand that? Or what you are writing, can you make your machine understand that? So that is what the natural language processing does. And maybe you can see the definition. So processing the information contained in the human languages, the natural languages. So that is what the natural language processing is. And we can see there are some other names for the natural language processing. So you can see like computation, you can call it as a computational linguistics, or human language technology also you can refer to as, and natural language engineering also. So all refer to the same thing, the natural language processing itself. So what is the objective? So in natural language processing, so as a developer or as a programmer or a research scientist, so what is our objective in case of the natural language processing? So you are utilizing data, or mostly in terms of text or speech you are considering, and so based on that data, so can you make your system understand the speech or understand the text you are providing, and can you get some insights from your text or the speech. So that is what the objective of the natural language processing is. And also what we are trying to do is, so we are not making the involvement of the human here in this process. So reduce the involvement of the human and allow the system to understand what we are speaking or what we are writing, and allow the system to respond to your instructions. So in the natural language itself. So that is what the major goal of the natural language processing. And if you observe here, so the natural language processing is not a single discipline, it's a combination of disciplines. So to make the natural language processing algorithms work, you need to have knowledge of machine learning, you should have the knowledge of mathematics, statistics, so then you should have the knowledge of linguistics also, because we are working with the natural languages. So that is where the linguistic knowledge is also important. So it's multidisciplinary basically. So it's not a single discipline, it's multidisciplinary. So you need to have the knowledge of artificial intelligence, you need to have the knowledge of machine learning, the linguistic knowledge, where you need to understand the structure of the language. So you will be working with not only with single language, so you need not to confine to English. So you can extend that to different languages. Maybe you consider Indian languages. So maybe you have 80 or 85 Indian languages, right? So how can you make your computer to work with all these languages? So you need to have the linguistic knowledge also. So that is how NLP is not a single discipline, it's a combination of different disciplines which demands the knowledge of different fields. Yeah, of course, the significance. Why do we need natural language processing? So of course we need natural language processing for the human-computer interaction. So majorly when we would like to interact with computers. So earlier the very limited computer interaction was there with humans. But nowadays, if you observe, we are having chatbots. So if you open any website, you can see the chatbots. The chatbots are interacting with you, and there is nothing like the customer care. The customer care is now replaced with the chatbots, the automatic systems, right? So the human and computer interaction we are expecting. So that is where the natural language processing is important, and also the data analysis and insights. So maybe I am running a business organization and I would like to see, so like based on the reviews that are given by the customers, I would like to increase my sales, or I would like to understand how my products are, or how can I improve the customer satisfaction. So if I consider the customer reviews or whatever the data that I have in my organization, so I can get better insights so for the future growth of the organization. So that is how you can use the natural language processing. And not only that, you can use it for the automation of tasks. So say for example, I would like to do the spell checking. Maybe you are writing your PhD thesis and you would like to do the spell checking. So sitting and doing it like every word, it takes time. Or maybe you are writing a textbook. So though you do it for 100 times, so there will be some mistakes, right? So that can be avoided when it is done by machines. So machines are like they don't tire, right? So they can do it for any number of hours. So we humans are having restricted hours for working. So if we work for 8 or 10 hours, so we need some rest, right? So that is not required. So in such kind of automation, can we use the machines? So that is where the NLP came into picture. So that aids in developing such kind of automation tasks, and also information retrieval. So we all work with Google search, right? So nevertheless, all of us must have used Google for retrieving something, searching something on the web. But the problem is, if you use Google, then it's like earlier. So it's not semantically meaningful. So our search criteria is something, and the Google is retrieving something else also. We might have faced such issues, right, when we search in Google. So that can be avoided by when we use NLP. So they can retrieve more semantically meaningful details. So if you use NLP in the search engines also. So that is where it is useful for the information retrieval also, and also the language translation. So maybe I would like to visit all the countries in the world. So then without having the knowledge of the other languages, so it might not be possible. So that is where the language translators will be helpful. Or maybe if you go to German, they don't have the idea of English. Most of the people, they don't, and even in China also. So we are blessed that we can talk multiple languages, but other countries, they are not. So then how can I communicate? How can I survive in such kind of situations? So if you have these kind of tools which can translate from your own language, the language you know, to the other language, that will be helpful, right? So these are all the use cases where the natural language processing is helpful. So then let's see some of the applications. Maybe this is kind of motivation why we should go for, maybe who are in the graduation or post-graduation level. So they can take it up one of the problem, and then they can dwell into the topic. That is where I'm quoting some of the examples of the natural language processing. So of course, natural language processing, wherever you have text, wherever you have speech, so wherever we have natural language usage, so then we can have some kind of application related to the natural language processing. Here I'm just quoting few of them. You can see like email filtering. So I would like to see whether the email is spam or normal email. So then I can use. So for filtering of my emails, or language translation, as I said, from one language to other language translation, and the smart assistants. So you must have used, like at least you must have seen Amazon's Alexa kind of assistants. Then the document analysis. I would like to categorize documents. Online search engines. So search engines are nowadays becoming more smarter and smarter. So then we can use NLP in the background. Then prediction of the text. So when you type in text, then your machine can, if it predicts the next words or next sentences, it will be helpful for us to write in the language. So then prediction of the text, and of course automatic summarization, social media monitoring, then the sentiment analysis. So these are a few of the applications. Let's have a look at each of these applications in little detail. So I'm not going into the detail of every application. So anyhow, we'll be discussing, we'll be focusing on sentiment analysis and machine translation in detail. So I'll just give you the overview of few of the applications here. So the email and document classification. So you can use NLP, like this is one of the application of NLP. So once you receive your email, so you must have observed that so the spam emails are already filtered. They are no more in your inbox. How is it happening? So in the background, so there is some NLP application that is running, so which can segregate your normal mail and the spam mail. So not only that, so you must have observed like there are 4 different buckets in your Gmail, right? The primary, social, promotion, something like that, the regular primary. So then how is it possible? So it's because the email filtering is happening in the background. So there is some NLP application that is running in the background that is taking care of your job, right? So is it not like our life is easy? So if you don't have such kind of application, if all the promotions and all the updates are into your inbox, so it's kind of waste of your time, your valuable time. So that is how we are saving our time due to these applications. So that is where the NLP is useful. And here you can see the machine translation. So machine translation is a word which refers to translating the language, like from one language sentence to the other language. That is what the translation is. And if the translation, like the translation is done by the machine itself, then we can say that it's a machine translation. So earlier you must have heard something like translators. So like whenever Indira Gandhi came to Andhra Pradesh or something, like Telangana, so then so they used to have the translators, the human translators. Nowadays it is no more required, right? So you can have machine translators itself. So that is where, like translating from one language to the other language, if you can leverage the machines for doing that, so that is what the machine translation is. And if you use the neural networks for doing this task, we call such task as a neural machine translation, which is much more powerful. Yeah, that is what the machine translation is. And there are other applications like chatbots and the virtual assistants. So chatbots means whenever we open Amazon or maybe most of the applications, you must have observed some chatbot that is opening at the background. Even e-commerce websites also, many of them. So even universities also they are maintaining. So nowadays, whenever you have some doubt, you need not to go through each and every corner of the website, and you need not to call the customer. So the human dependency is reduced to some extent, right? So most of the questions you can ask the chatbot, and the chatbot is replying. It's kind of question and answering application that is used in the background. So that is where the chatbots are used, and this one kind of application of the natural language processing. And the virtual assistants. So you can ask your what is a virtual assistant? So you can so earlier there used to be personal assistants for the people, right? So rather than using that, you can use the virtual assistants also. So where you are using an application to assist you. So maybe you can use your Google, and you can say that play this song. Have you ever done that in your mobile? You must have. Is it not? Or you can even say that send email with this subject, or do this for me. So that kind of applications are possible. So such kind of assistants, we call them as the virtual assistants. And so what is the background technology that is used in this? So that is the natural language processing. So why do we need to use the natural language processing here? So when I speak something, it should be captured, right? My speech should be captured. Is it like my voice is too much, or shall I avoid?
No,
Is it fine? Yeah, thanks. Okay. Thanks. So when I speak, when I give the command to the application, first my speech should be captured, and then the speech should be converted to the text, and the text should be converted to the command, and it should be given to the application. Then the actual command should be taken place in response, and that should be taken place, right? And if it requires any response, then the response also, like the command response should be converted to the speech, and then it should be uttered out, right? So these are all different. You can see there are a lot of natural language related algorithms that is running in the background. So that is where your virtual assistants require the natural language processing algorithms, right? So these are all the applications again. So these are all the applications of the natural language processing. And the speech recognition. So I just quoted like speech recognition. So what is speech recognition? So when we utter something, maybe now the lecture is going on. So you would like to capture the speech, and the lecture you would like to convert it to text. Then, so that is where the speech recognition, that kind of application we call it as a speech recognition. So maybe the voice always, so you have to go back and forth. So that is difficult for us to follow. So sometimes we would like to, capture the speech, then convert to the text, and then we would like to get the text transcript and then get it done. So that kind of task, like conversion of the speech signal, so whatever is uttered in the speech signal to the text is known as the speech recognition task. And of course, there are several applications that are related to the speech. So there's something like speech recognition. So speech recognition means maybe there are several people that are talking here. So maybe which signal is related to which person. So that is what the speech diarization is. So maybe there is a group discussion that is going on where multiple people are involved in the discussion, and I would like to see which speech signal, which part of the signal is uttered by which person. I would like to do that. So such kind of segmentation we call it as a speech diarization. And similarly you can say something like speaker verification or speaker recognition. So speech recognition is different, speaker recognition is different. Please try to understand. So speaker recognition is, so maybe instead of using, do you give the biometric at the entry of the institute?
We
Yes,
used to,
right.
we used to mark our attendance.
Yeah, so that is mandatory nowadays. So we are giving by thumb. How do you give? So maybe this can, thumb, right? Yeah, so that can be done with the speech also. So all of our speech similar, that can also be used as a biometric. So like in that case, which speech uttered by the person is belonging to which person. So that is where the application known as a speaker recognition, right? Yeah. So these are all the applications related to the speech which are related to the natural language processing. And of course the sentiment analysis, which is the focus of today's lecture. The sentiment analysis. What is the sentiment analysis? So I am running a business organization and maybe an e-commerce website I am running in Amazon. So how many of you use Amazon? Every one of us, right? So like we are well versed with online shopping nowadays. So we use Amazon or Myntra or Flipkart and we buy the things and then we give the reviews also. Is it not? And before we buy the product, do we check the reviews or simply we buy? We definitely check the reviews. What is the rating for this product? We just check that, and after analysis of that, then only. So if the rating is like high, then only I go and purchase that product. Otherwise I don't, right? So that is what the sentiment analysis is. So what is the sentiment or the opinion? So whether the people are liking this product. So based on the reviews that are given by the persons, by the customers, so we are analyzing the perspective of the people is towards the product or against the product. So analyzing that, we call it as a sentiment analysis, right? So of course we'll go into more details of this application later. And then there is another important application, that is a triage of the incoming messages or the emails. Maybe this is applicable for your telephone, your SMS messages and also for the emails. So what does this triage means? So in Gmail, you must have observed recently, it was not there earlier, so it's still in the beta version, it's not completely developed, it's under development stage. So you must have seen something like, you have received this email 2 days back and you haven't responded to that. Have you observed that recently? Right? Yeah. So that is what the triage of incoming messages. So there is an application underlying which is tracking your messages and also saying that, like indicating the notification whether you have responded to the emails or not. So if you forget that, then it will give you the reminder of that. So that is what the triage of, it's tracking of your messages or the emails and give the priority to the emails, and you can set a priority also. Maybe you can set something like notify me after 2 days. So that kind of option is also there in that application. So this is again another application related to the natural language processing. So it reads your message actually. So underlying applications are there, NLP based applications, and they will go through each and every sentence of your message and whether you have responded to the mail or not, it is checking, and then so it does the follow. So such kind of application we call it as a triage of the incoming messages. And of course is text summarization. So how many of you are research scholars? So most of us, even if you are not, like faculty are also like they are involved in research. And we struggle reading each and every paper of related to our subject. Is it not?
Yes.
Right? If you have any application which can summarize your paper, how wonderful it would be. Of course, there are several AI applications. So maybe we can have another session like there are a lot of AI tools which will be helpful for your research. So I have taken one session in AICTE Chandigarh. So which helps you, like where you can see a lot of tools that are helpful for the researchers, especially for the scholars, upcoming researchers. I don't recommend, but at least you can use it as a tool. How many of us use a chatbot? Every one of us, right? So you cannot use it for writing a new paper, but you can make use of it. It's services. So who stops you from using it? You can leverage any of the tools that are available online. There's nothing wrong in that. So it's for the usage of us, right? They are developed for the usage of the people. But thing is, so like you have to validate how good it is, how bad it is, and how it can be improvised. All that we need to do, right? Yeah. This text summarization means, so there is a document that is given to the tool, the application, and the application will come up with a summary of the text. So maybe it is a paper of 10 pages or 50 pages or 100 pages. So it could be dependent on the application. So that is what the text summarization is. So then, yeah, I am just showing the same thing, text summarization. Of course, so this text summarization could be of different levels also. So whether you would like to give 1 or 2 line summary, or maybe all the gist you would like to have, maybe for the 10 or 20 pages I would like to give one line or 1 page summary. It can be of different abstractions. So at the lower level of abstraction, maybe 1 or 2 lines. So this paper is related to biomedical research, something like that. Or maybe it is talking about the sentiment analysis, and it uses deep learning algorithms for doing that. So such kind of detail, little detail. So the levels of abstraction could vary. So in the text summarization. And also there is something like extractive summarization or abstractive summarization. So extractive summarization means, so while doing the summarization, so it will take few of the sentences that are important, so to the topic, and then it will just stitch together all these sentences, paste together all these sentences that are part of the text, and then it will produce the summary. So that is one way of doing it. Or otherwise, so it has to generate new sentences based on the topic, based on the text that is part of the given document. It has to generate its own summary so that we get the summary. You understand the difference between these two? So these are the different approaches of the text summarization. So basically in the first approach, so only some of the sentences we are picking up, so we are not generating anything new. So only from existing document we are picking up some parts of it here and there, and then we are putting it. So that's one approach. The other approach is, so it has to combine, merge 2-3 sentences, or it has to generate a new sentence based on the paragraph given or the entire document. That is other the better approach, the next level of summarization. So that's about the text summarization. Yeah, here you can see auto-completion task. We call it as auto-completion. And you must have observed this in your WhatsApp also. So, or in your Gmail also. While writing your email, so when you type in a word, so you will be getting recommendation for the next word, even the next sentence also. So that task we call it as auto-completion. So how we are getting that? Why? Because there is an algorithm that is running in the background, that is the natural language processing algorithm. So with this kind of algorithm, we call it as a language model. So given the past sentences, we are expecting the model to generate the next word or maybe next words. So such kind of models we call it as the language model, we call it as. So here you can see, so maybe I am typing 1 or 2 words, and it's like predicting the next words, completion with auto-completion. So, and the auto-completion could be predicting the next character or the next word. So again, different levels of abstraction you can consider. So maybe the next whole sentence itself. So there are AI tools when you like just give one sentence, it will just generate the entire email itself for you. So these kind of tools are already available. Only thing is we are not aware of them. That's it. So this is about the auto-completion. And then the image captioning. So what is image captioning? So given the image, so we would like to get the summary of it. So maybe this application is useful for different situations. Maybe one important situation I can quote is for blind people. So can the blind people visualize the visuals and can understand? No, right? So then for them, how can they understand that? So when the image is given, the application has to generate some text from that, and then that can be uttered by the speech, converted to the speech synthesis algorithm, and then it can be understood by the blind people, isn't it? So that is where this kind of image captioning algorithms will be helpful. Not only for that, of course, there are plenty of algorithms. It's again a hot research area. So what is this image captioning? given an image, so produce sentences or summary of the image which is semantically meaningful related to the context of the image. So that is what the image captioning is. And again, this could be of different levels. And if you go to the next level of the image captioning, that's what we call it as a dense image captioning. So in the earlier example, if you observe, so only we are getting a single word, like man in black shirt is playing a guitar, that's it. So just a summary, a brief summary we are getting. And of course the second also, construction worker in orange safety vest is working on road. So of course a brief summary. So we are not going into the details of it, right? Yeah. But here if you consider the dense captioning, we are identifying every object that is part of the image. So that is what the object recognition algorithm, that's part of your computer vision, the algorithms we are using. And then for every object we are getting the corresponding caption. So and then we are stitching it together. So here you can see the summary, it's like the detailed summary of it. So this kind of captioning we call it as a dense image captioning. So there is a plate of food, a food on a plate, so all the details. Maybe based on this we can generate meaningful text, a summary, full detailed summary we can generate. So that is what the dense image captioning is. And of course this image captioning can be extended to video captioning, where the input is a video. Rather than having the image, you can pass a video to the input. Then, so from that video you have to generate the captions or the summaries. So that is what the next level of the image captioning, that's a video captioning algorithm. And of course, where is it the NLP algorithm? So of course, while providing the input, you are providing the video or the images only. So that is why
it is like we are tagging things because they are in different frames and they are.
Yeah, that is the object detection algorithm we are using. So from the object detection, so it will be detecting like localization of the objects. So it identifies the regions of interest, and then so the boundary boxes it will be drawing, and then so for every object we are generating the captioning. And this is the combination of, here if you observe, it's not a single single field, single research area. It's a combination of research areas actually. The computer vision is required and also the natural language processing, both are required here. So if you observe, the input is an image. That is why the computer vision field is important, the understanding of computer vision algorithms. And then after reading the input, so you should produce the text. And again, related to the natural language. So the natural language processing algorithms. So it's a combination of different fields. So that is where the dense captioning stands. Yeah, maybe I'm just showing, so different applications on a single slide here. You can see, you can use it for, so when you say OMW, it's generating on my way. So like, it's providing the details, and then Amazon, similar to the Alexa, you are saying like, was a time? It's responding with, have you ever tried using Amazon's Alexa or Siri in your Apple iPhone? So if anyone of you are using iPhone, so you can talk to your Siri, or maybe in Google also, like you can open it and say Google's Assistant, right? So these are all the virtual assistants you can use, or you can ask your virtual assistant to send an email also. So maybe these are all the applications that are important. Why? Because maybe we are interacting through the gadgets. Maybe most of the times we are spending, even official professional communications also we are doing it through mobile only. Is it not? So gadgets plays a vital role in our day-to-day life. It's not like we are just using it for the videos, watching videos and all. So we are doing most important works in the through the gadgets only. So then maybe I'm driving, and so I spend some 1 hour time while driving. So then can I use my mobile phone so to send some important professional email? So then if you generate such kind of an application, then it is possible, right? So that is where these kind of applications are important. So here you can see like the topmost one you can see is like provide your document and it will be classifying it. So whether document is belonging to the sports activities or the news articles, or it is related to the research, or it is related to deep learning. So what kind of application it is? So the topmost one, and the leftmost one you can see the Alexa kind of assistant. And here it's expansion of your acronyms, that kind of. And the right side you can see the bottom rightmost. So it's automated captions you can generate. And bottommost you can see like when you type in like it's auto completion task, or maybe so the next level of generation of the emails. So ChatGPT, what is ChatGPT basically? It's actually an NLP application. And not only like a simple predictive algorithm, as a generative algorithm, right? So it can generate new things for you. So it can generate poems for you, it can generate a new algorithm for you. So you can ask your ChatGPT to generate a new natural language processing algorithm also. But so be careful when using it, because sometimes it makes silly mistakes also. So maybe sometimes it makes mistakes while doing multiplication also. So please be very watchful. So then on the top you can see, so the auto completion task, these are all the different applications. So like I hope I have given a lot of motivation for the NLP. Why do you learn? Thank you. So why do you learn NLP? Right? So this is all the motivation, just to give the motivation for NLP. And of course, so seems to be very nice, right? Yeah, all the applications are fantastic and useful. So useful applications, maybe why don't we, straight away start using that? But there are several challenges. So we need to understand problems that we face while developing these applications. So what are the challenges of these applications? Like while developing these algorithms, NLP algorithms, that also we need to understand. Of course, so the few of the applications I have given here, and it will be extended, so in the presentation. So you can see few of the challenges: lack of context understanding, of course the algorithms, the cultural and language biases will be there, because if you consider Indian languages, so several languages, right? So if you consider significant languages, there are 85 or more than that. So in India itself. So then ambiguity and polysemy, that's another problem, and limited domain knowledge and lack of emotional intelligence. So your models, so still they don't have emotional intelligence. So these are all the different challenges that we face while developing the algorithms. So let's try to understand the details of each of these challenges. What are the challenges basically, with few examples. Yeah. So the contextual words and phrases. So of course, depending on the context, so or the phrases we are using, their meaning will be changing. So that's a problem. That creates a lot of ambiguity while developing the applications. So consider these applications here. I have put a few examples. So where the same word I have used in different forms. Their meaning everywhere I am using. Like in different places, the meaning of the word is different. You can observe that. So I ran to the store because we ran out of milk. You can observe ran. The same word I am using, even without, the form is also not changing, but the meaning is entirely different. I ran to the store because we ran out of milk. Right? And how, of course, we humans can easily understand that. But how the machines, how to make our machines to understand that? That's a challenge, great challenge. And can I run something past you real quick? So the meaning, do you understand the meaning? The meaning of this is here, of course I am using the form of run only, but maybe as a presenter I am asking you, can I quickly demonstrate something? That's the meaning of the second sentence. And third one, if you observe, the house is looking really run down. So of course the same word I am using, but in different contexts it gives different meaning. So then how can we make the machines to understand that? The last sentence meaning is the house looks damaged or very old. So that's the meaning of it. So everywhere it's different. Then that creates a lot of ambiguity in the algorithms. So how the machine can understand all these things? How many such words are there in your language? So this is about our like English language alone. But what about the other languages? One second, some urgent call. Repeatedly they're calling. Can I switch it off here?
Yes.
Yeah.